Power writing is injecting adrenaline into our words. It's putting our speeches on steroids. It's upping our signal-to-noise ratio so that there's lots of signal, very little noise. For example, we've all heard this pop song. Bus stop, wet day, she's there, I say, please share my umbrella. Bus stop, bus goes, she stays, love grows under my umbrella. That's only 23 words, yet we have a whole mini story in those 23 words. He doesn't say what her name is or what the bus looked like. It's not important. I'm a hobbyist writer, and I like to study disciplines in which words, even syllables, are expensive in terms of literary real estate. Disciplines not like poetry or prose, but disciplines like advertising or stand-up comedy or songwriting. A speech should be like a melody in which every new note is unexpected. We don't know where it's going. When we hear it, it sounds fresh. And when we hear it, we realize that that's the perfect note. It's the perfect word, the perfect syllable. It's a feeling of satisfaction in that. Listeners should be unable to guess in a melody where the next note will be. And the same thing in our speeches. We don't know. We're curious where it's going to go. We don't know where it's going to go. And we hear it. It feels like it couldn't have happened any other way. I'm going to illustrate with the song by a terrific songwriter named David Wilcox. The song begins with these three words, my old addiction. Okay, he's a singer singing my old addiction. And so with three words, we're introduced to the title and the whole gist of the song. It's about addiction, yet there's a puzzle in there. Why would somebody be singing to their old addiction as if it was an old lover? Who would do that? And is the person singing still addicted, or have they recovered? There's a puzzle there. It's a tease. It makes us want to know more. The next metaphor goes like this. So like the flowers toward the sun, I will follow, stretch myself out thin, like there's a part of me that's already buried that sends me out into this wind. So that's a metaphor. It's power writing. It's doing three things at once. We have the image of the flower, something we know. We have the image of him as a drug addict, strung out, thin, longing, reaching for the sun in the wind, half buried, like he's half dead. Plus, there's a connection comparing a flower to a drug addict. So three things. The metaphor really works hard. Now, I've only given you up to here, but there's actually another syllable I haven't told you about. He makes it into window, okay? So the flower is reaching for the sun and the wind, but it runs into the window bump. It's like his addiction. He's limited by the addiction. He's whapped into the window. This one syllable recasts the whole metaphor. It's like getting extra words without having to say them. It's very efficient. Another cool thing that Wilcox does, he sets it up with this word thin here. It rhymes with the word wind. Here thin, and we're expecting it to be wind to be the end. So when the dough happens, it's like a bump, a jolt of reality. Wilcox then ratchets up the tension with the darker side of addiction. My old addiction makes me crave only what is best, the craving theme. Like these just this morning songbirds craving upward from the nest. These tiny birds outside my window take my hand to be their mom. These open mouths would trust and swallow anything that came along. So what is it? He's on the second floor of the singer of a building. It's a spring day. He doesn't need to say it's spring because the birds are just born. He's looking at these little baby birds on the window, and what does he have in his hand? Drugs. He's thinking about giving drugs to the baby birds. He doesn't say if he's really going to give the drugs to the birds or not. He doesn't need to say it. The idea alone is heart-rending. It's scary. It suggests the real danger, the pernicious nature of a drug addiction, and that he could so casually get some other entity addicted, like even these baby birds. We still are curious about the song. Was he still addicted? This is supposedly in the past. We don't know. If a swan can have a song, I think I know that tune, but the page is only scrawl, and I am gone this afternoon. So this wraps it up. It tells us what he is. He's a writer, perhaps a songwriter, perhaps a poet, we don't know, but he's still addicted. And he tries to write. The thing that he does is writing, and he can't do it because of addiction. All he can do is write scrawl. He's like a wasted person. He is a writer, he's talking about addiction in general, or talking about as a societal problem. It's his own personal tragedy. He's addicted, he can't do what he wants to do. This is power writing. In our speeches, we should try to emulate Wilcox and keep the listener engaged, teasing them, throwing out puzzles, which is why the tired Toastmaster type maxim of tell them what you're going to tell them what you told them. Well, I don't think that works all the time, because when you tell them what you're going to tell them, we know where you're going, and we can tune out. Rather, we should strive for few words with a big punch, using metaphors that do double, triple duty. No clutter, junk, windy prepositional phrases, can those. Be laser focused on the subject. And remember, each word in your speech should be like a melody. Each note, each word, fresh but inevitable. Power writing takes work, but it's worth it since it can turn our boring blabberings into powerful and persuasive speeches. Thank you.